The thing is, I made my first version of the collar. The first one I burned with an iron. Very nice. The second... Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Box Atelier. I hope you're doing fantastic. And today is actually the video that I almost didn't film. And it's probably due to a very silly reason. I had it stuck in my head during the week that I had to finish this dress, but you can probably see that I still didn't. And because of that I almost didn't film. But then I remembered that is not the spirit of Friday Sews. We're actually here to share, all that went throughout the week. And what happened is I couldn't finish, so here we are. Then I actually remember that I have lots that I want to talk to you about. I am currently obsessed, or I seem to be obsessed with 1940s and 1950s sewing patterns, and I actually bought a few this week. I want to talk to you about a new pattern that is out for this month. It's actually an embroidery pattern, so if you're into that kind of stuff, that is for you. And I will of course update you about this dress, and I want to talk to you about Project Dress a Girl. So let's make a start. So I want to start today by thanking Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, because she started the Friday Sews hashtag where all of us sewers can jump in and share with you what is going on in our crafting throughout the week. So thanks a lot Jen, and if you want to find new sewers to watch, feel free to click on the Friday Sews hashtag. So this week there is actually a question for Friday Sews, so it is now time to transition to a new season. So what are we doing to get prepared for it? I personally am not someone who puts away, the summer clothes and then brings out the winter clothes, and vice versa. So I'm not doing anything on that regard, but I did go through my stash this week and I pulled out exciting fabrics that I bought last year for winter that I didn't get to sew, and I have pulled them all together. I actually can give you a sneak peek of those fabrics. Okay, so this is an old closet. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my fabric stash. Here we go, and here is the damage. I have some up there, some down there, but what matters is this. This is the sneak peek, already organized. So I have two piles of those fabrics and the sewing patterns that I want to sew with, and that's actually really exciting, seeing them just there stacked. I can just go pick up a fabric and work on a project that I was very excited to sew last year but I didn't get to. So that's what I'm doing to prepare my sewing for this year. So I'm not really changing my current wardrobe, but I'm preparing my my sewing for the new wardrobe for this season. Now on the new sewing patterns. So I mentioned last week that I was keeping my eye on a few sewing patterns. One of them was the Amelia jacket by Sew Over It, and I actually bought that one. It was on sale, and that one is a style that is actually described as being a 1940s design, or inspired by 1940s designs. It's a crop jacket. Actually, I bought this one, and this is one that I hope to sew for autumn and winter. It's really easy to wear with my current wardrobe because I have a lot of high-waisted pants, so this is a good one. I did mention last week a Simplicity blouse. It was S19, let me see, 9818, and I kept saying that I couldn't find this pattern already sewn or on Instagram, of course. Then I ended up checking on Simplicity's website, and it is indeed a recent release or re-release of a 1950s design. I am going to buy this one. It is on my cart. I just didn't buy it because I'm waiting for a sale. Simplicity is always running sales. I personally buy the PDF patterns, but they always have them in rotating kind of sales, so I'll wait until they have a sale, and I'm going to buy this one for sure. In the meantime, I was browsing, as you do, on the new sewing pattern section, and I found two more. So this one is a coat, it's a Mrs. coat. Let me just check. It's also a 1950s reproduction pattern, and it is Butterick, and it is Butterick 6957. Maybe I need glasses. Butterick 6957, and it is a jacket. This one, as soon as I saw, and that I was looking for a coat pattern, like an easy one to sew, this one on the website is described as being an easy to sew pattern, so I added to my cart immediately. I was Especially there is one version that seems to be finished with bias binding in the middle, so I was like, that seems actually, that would be something quite easy. That version is actually mentioned as being unlined, so I was like, that's another step that I can just remove and then finish with bias binding. That seems easy enough, so I added to the cart. And then I kept scrolling and I found another one, and this one is a dress. And this dress is Butterick 6956, again a 1950s reproduction from Butterick. And I saw this one, I saw the pockets. If you look at the pockets, it's just really a really interesting design. I fell in love right away. I did look at the rating and it seems to be an average sewing pattern, and I was like, maybe if I really want to sew, I can still do it. So I added this one to the cart as well, and I bought this too. After buying them, I opened the sewing instructions, and they do mention on the website that they have, let me see what they say. They do mention that they have additional size options and cutting layouts. They do not mention that they have revamped the sewing instructions. But I don't know why I didn't think about that, so I bought this too. And when I opened the sewing instructions, I noticed that the instructions for all the versions of the coat, for example, it's just an A4 sheet. So one sheet of paper, not even front and back, it's just one page. And I started reading it and I didn't understand anything. So yeah, I was very happy. I was convinced that I just spent my money on patterns that I was not going to be able to sew. After reading the instructions for the coat, I read the instructions for the dress as well. And they mentioned something like match the small dots with the medium dots, and I was like, I can't do this. So I went, grabbed myself some tea, came back, spent 1 hour reading the sewing instructions little by little. And if you're paying a lot of attention, reading the little instructions that they have there, and if you really look at the images, you can make sense out of it. So I think that I can do it. I'm not going to do all of the steps as they have there because I want to use some more, what we can say, modern techniques. I know I want to use my serger to finish some seams. I want to use also iron on interfacing instead of sew on interfacing. So yeah, if I get to do them, I'm going to change the steps a little bit. But yeah, so I bought this too. I'm happy that I did, but they're going to be a little bit of a struggle to sew. I did find a free pattern that you can use in case you have an embroidery machine. If you have an embroidery machine, you probably know the website Urban Threads. That's a big website where you can buy lots and lots of embroidery patterns for your machine, and they usually have one free pattern every month. And this month they have I'll put an image right here, and you can make a little stuffy. So I think it's a very nice one. So if you have little ones, or if you like to do your own decorations for Halloween and you have an embroidery machine, this is a nice one. Actually, I downloaded it already and I might be giving it a try. I just need to check if I do have any orange fabric that is suitable for it. I do have some orange satin fabrics, but those are not good to put in an embroidery machine. So yeah, I'll take a look, and if I find, I'm going to be trying this one for sure. And now let's talk about this dress. Again, this is the dress that I decided to do half black and half white. As you can see, this is Simplicity 9114. Let me just check. Yep, here it is, 9114. And it was a struggle to put all the pieces back in the envelope, but I did it. Let me just put it back. So yeah, most of the dress went well except for the collar and the cuffs, which are the two pieces that, well, I modified myself. The collar I will turn around. I did it half white and half black. Of course, the piece is supposed to be cut in one color, but since I did it half white and half black, I cut it in the middle and had to sew it together. And there is one part, so the top part, that is supposed to be interfaced, but it is interfaced. The thing is, I made my first version of the collar. The first one I burned with an iron, very nice. The second one I made the collar entirely, and when I was about to attach it to the dress, I noticed that it was the other way around. So the interfacing is supposed to be on the top, and in order for the interfacing to be on the top, I had black on this side and white on this side. So I threw it in the trash and I cut another one and I did it again. It was again upside down. It didn't want to be right, but again, fourth time was a charm. I think, yeah, that's a fourth time. Then I finally did it correctly and here it is. It's supposed to be a very simple piece, but I made mistakes 4 times, ended up being done. Here it is. So, and the cuffs. They also have a few mistakes, so they don't have the buttons yet. Actually, in the entire dress is still missing 2 things, the buttons and the hem. I'll show you far away how it looks. It's really long at the moment. The cuffs, I'll try to show an image. It is understitched and I wanted the understitching to be on the inside. But again, after getting both of them done, I noticed that in order for the button loops to be on the right side, I needed to have the understitching on the outside. That's not a big deal, but again, it was a little mistake on my side and it is done. The only thing that I would change if I could go back in time is that I would like the sleeves on this part, on top of the sleeve cuff, to have a lot more poof, but you know, to be more voluminous, but that's okay. I think it is still fine, but if I would go back and if I would change something to improve the design, I would change the sleeves and make them more voluminous. Just another thing on the cuffs, if you want to make your own pattern for this kind of cuff, I'll attach a short video that I have on how I did this pattern. You only need 3 measurements, it's actually really quick, and as long as you can then sew it, or if you want to sew along for this specifically, I don't mind doing it. But yeah, you can make your own pattern and you can add it to your favorite dress in case this kind of style is something that you like. Now I'll go far away and show you the actual dress. So I think I forgot to mention, I also added a belt that I made also half black, half white, so I can tie it around my waist. Let me go back. So yeah, I forgot to measure and cut the hem, well, of the last piece before I sew it on, but yeah, that's one of the steps that is missing to be done. As you can see, yeah, I'm wearing something underneath, and it is very poofy. I really like it. And yeah, I think it is a very nice kind of a statement dress, and if you want to do it, it's totally doable. You just need to fight with the collar and decide what kind of cuffs you want to add and make it your own. And the last thing that I want to share is that, well, this month I'm joining on Project Dress a Girl. Lots of sewists will be jumping on it and sewing dresses for charity. And if you want to see all the information about it, I'll link down below the link from Mari Sews. She's making the kickoff video and she'll give you all the information in case you want to join as well. If you have, you know, some fabrics in your stash that are suitable and that you would like to sew for a charity, you can do that as well. So you can watch her video, see all of the details, and in case you want to join, make a dress or 2, feel free to join in. So thank you a lot for coming back to this channel, and if you're still watching, thank you very much. I wish you a great week and I'll see you again next Friday. Happy crafting!